Candace Elizabeth Newmaker was a child who was killed during a 70-minute attachment therapy session purported to treat reactive attachment disorder. The treatment used that day included a rebirthing script, during which Candace was suffocated. Candace Elizabeth Newmaker, born Candace Tiara Ailmore on November 19, 1989 in Lincolnton, North Carolina, had a rough upbringing, and at a young age, she and her younger brother Michael and her sister Chelsea were removed from home for neglect and separated by social services. And when she was 5, her parents, Angela and Todd Elmore, had their parental rights terminated. 2 years later, she would be adopted by Jean Elizabeth Newmaker, a single woman and pediatric nurse practitioner in Durham, North Carolina. And within months of the adoption, Jean began taking Candace to a psychiatrist, complaining about her behavior and attitude at home. Though Candace was treated with medications, Jean reported that Candace's behavior became worse during the ensuing 2 years. A period supposedly included her playing with matches and killing goldfish. Reactive attachment disorder, RAD, is described in clinical literature as a severe and relatively uncommon disorder that can affect children. The RAD is characterized by markedly disturbed and developmentally inappropriate ways of relating socially in most contexts. It can take form of a persistent failure to initiate or respond in most social interactions in a developmentally appropriate way, known as an inhibited form. But due to a revision in DSM-5, the disinhibited form is now considered a separate diagnosis, named disinhibited attachment disorder. Children with RAD are presumed to have grossly disturbed internal working models of relationships that may lead to interpersonal and behavioral difficulties in later life. There are few studies of long-term effects, and there's a lack of clarity about the presentation of the disorder beyond the age of 5 years.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right, let's go. What happened?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. I gave up. How about I gave up? Steve, this is your life.
Yes.
This is your life. Where are your eyes supposed to be?
Yes.
This is your life. You going to fight for your family? You want to stay in this family or not? Or should we just give up now? What do you want to do? You want to give up? You want to whine and moan?
No.
Well, what is it? Yes or no?
No, Neil.
Then say it like you mean it.
No, Neil.
No, Neil, what? Oh, is this the kind of stuff that you do all the time, huh? I forgot. I don't know. Play stupid. Poor little Stevie. Huh? That's the kind of stuff. How'd it go last night for you?
Not good, Neil.
The way it usually goes, right? Because this is the way your life goes. How many times do you think I want to tell you to look in my eyes, huh? How many times do people have to tell you to do things? Oh, I don't know, Neil. How you feeling right now? How'd you feel last night, huh?
Scared.
Scared? Did you act scared? When Mom told you not to come out of your room, what did you do? You gonna go into your whiny, wimpy routine now? Is that what you're gonna do? If you don't start dealing with the man inside of you, you're gonna kill somebody. Do you understand that?
Yes, Neil.
How often do you think about killing your mother? How often do you think about killing your mother? When I ask you a question, I expect you to respond. Got it?
Got it.
Got it?
Got it.
I didn't like that. Got it. I want it louder and snappier. Got it?
Got it.
How often do you think about killing your mother, Stevie?
Often.
Thank you. So you say that in a full sentence.
I don't like killing my mother often.
Attachment therapy, also called the evergreen model, holding time, rage reduction, compression therapy, rebirthing, corrective attachment therapy, and coercive restraint therapy, is a pseudoscientific child mental health intervention intended to treat attachment disorders. It's primarily found in the United States, and much of it is centered around a dozen clinics in Evergreen, Colorado. The common form of attachment therapy is holding therapy, in which a child is firmly held, or lain upon, by therapists or parents. Through this process of restraint and confrontation, therapists seek to produce in the child a range of responses, such as rage and despair, with the goal of achieving catharsis. In theory, when the child's resistance is overcome and rage is released, the child is reduced to an infantile state, in which he or she can be reparented by the methods such as cradling, rocking, bottle feeding, or enforced eye contact. Typically, the aim is to promote attachment with new caregivers. Control over the children is usually considered essential, and therapy is often accompanied by parenting techniques that emphasize obedience. Candace and Gene Newmaker traveled to Evergreen, Colorado in April 2000 for a $7,000 2-week intensive session of attachment therapy with Connell Watkins upon referral from William Goebel, a licensed psychologist in North Carolina. Candace died during the second week of intensive sessions with Watkins during what has been called a rebirthing session. Participating in the fatal session as therapists were Watkins and Jody Pondier, along with Candace's therapeutic foster parents, Britta St. Clair, Jack McDaniel, and Gene Newmaker. Following the script for that day's treatment, Candace was wrapped in a flannel sheet and covered with pillows to simulate a womb or birth canal, and was told to fight her way out of it, with the extent and expectation that the experience would help her attach to her adoptive mother. 4 of the adults, weighing a combined total of 673 pounds, used their hands and feet to push on Candace's head, chest, and 70-pound body to resist her attempts to free herself, while she complained, pleaded, and even screamed for help and air, unable to escape from the sheet. Candace stated 11 times during the session that she was dying, to which Pondier responded, "Go ahead, die right now, for real, for real." 20 minutes into the session, Candace had vomited and excreted inside the sheet. She was nonetheless kept restrained within. 40 minutes into the session, Candace was asked if she wanted to be reborn. She faintly responded with, "No." This would ultimately be her last word. To this, Pondier responded, "Quitter, quitter, quitter, quit, quit, quit." Gene Newmaker, who said later she felt rejected by Candace's inability to be reborn, was asked by Watkins to leave the room in order for Candace to not pick up on Gene's sorrow. Soon after, Watkins requested the same of McDaniel and Britta St. Clair, leaving only herself and Pondier in the room with Candace. After talking for 5 minutes, the two unwrapped Candace and found that she was motionless, blue on the fingertips and lips, and not breathing. Upon seeing this, Watkins declared, "Oh, there she is, sleeping in her vomit." Whereupon, the mother, who had been watching on a monitor in another room, rushed into the room and remarked on Candace's color, and began CPR while Watkins called 911. When the paramedics arrived 10 minutes later, McDaniel told them that Candace had been left alone for 5 minutes during a rebirthing session and was not breathing. The paramedics surmised that Candace had been unconscious and possibly not breathing for some time. Paramedics were able to restore the girl's pulse, and she was flown by helicopter to a hospital in Denver. However, she was declared brain dead the next day as a consequence of asphyxia. A year later, Watkins and Pondier were tried and convicted of reckless child abuse resulting in a death, and received a 16-year prison sentence. Britta St. Clair and Jack McDaniel, the therapeutic foster parents, pleaded guilty to criminally negligent child abuse and were given 10 years probation and 1,000 hours of community service in a plea bargain. The adoptive mother, Gene Newmaker, pleaded guilty to neglect and abuse charges and was given a 4-year suspended sentence, after which the charges were expunged from her record. The story of Candace's death was a national one in the United States, with contemporaneous reports about her death and subsequent trial of her therapists appearing in newspapers and news magazines all over the country, as well as internationally. The case was the motivation behind Candace's law in North Carolina and Colorado, which outlawed dangerous reenactments of birth experience. Candace passed away on April 18, 2000. Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, let me know in the comments down below, and leave a like if you liked the video. If you want to request any specific stories for the Horror Story series, let me know in the comments down below. And as always, we gotta thank the Patreon supporters. Thank you to Horror Star and Maria, The Caustic, Simon Possum, Pro Cookie, Finny, Lucy, and Unholy Trio. Without their support, we can't do what we do here, and it's greatly appreciated. If you want to help support the channel in any way, there's a merch link and a Patreon link in the description down below. Both funds go directly into the channel to make sure we can maintain what's happening here. And as always, stay zesty.